Welcome to lesson 41 of course 2. In this lesson we're going to use formulas and we're going to discuss the distributive property. Many of you should already know how to use the distributive property and what it is. We will evaluate a formula by replacing letters in the formula with numbers and then simplifying. We'll also use the distributive property to simplify expressions. Our vocabulary is just simply distributive property. The technical definition is a number times the sum of two add-ins is equal to the sum of that same number times each individual add-in. Wow, that's easy to understand. So let's see if we can make that a little bit easier. If you look at either of these examples, I'm going to go ahead and use this one here because it has numbers in it. Right here, 8, and this is how they write it when they write it. They write it like this. They don't put the times sign in here. Just the fact that it's sitting next to the parentheses means that it's 8 times whatever's inside these parentheses. Now, our order of operations tells us we do parentheses first, so you could do that and make this 5. Right? So 8 times 5, your answer is going to be 40. Or you can use the distributive property over here and go 8 times 2 is 16, and 8 times 3 is 24, and 16 plus 24 equals 40. We get the same answer. This method here, we use the orders of operation. This method here, we use what's called the distributive property. And that's what we're going to work with today. Because this distributive property has its role, it's important that you be able to do that in the middle of a very large problem that you may be using the order of operations in. So, find A in the problem. A equals length times width if the length is equal to 8 feet and the width is equal to 4. So we need to solve for A. So the first thing we got to do is we got to plug in our numbers. So we're going to do A is equal to 8 times, and our 4, here's our 8, is the W. So A is equal to, yes, 32. In this case here, because it's length times width and it's area, it's going to be squared. So you got to be sure and square it, because we got 2 feet here, not just 1. All right, so here's an example of evaluating 2 times length plus width when length is 8 and width is 4. So again, we just plug them in here. Here's our 8, here's our 4. So we're going to be 2 times what? 2 times 12, and our answer is going to be 24, because we're going to times these two together, because these two being together means times. And it's going to be centimeters squared. We got centimeters in here, we got centimeters in here. If it's asking you to do that, length times width. If it's not length times width, then you wouldn't be squaring it. All right, so there are two formulas commonly used to relate to do perimeter of a rectangle with its length and its width. And one is this one here, where we distribute it and add them together. And the other one is where we add them first and then times them by 2. So either one works. So one would be 2 times 3 plus 4, and the other one would be 2 times 3 plus 2 times 4. Both end up being the same answer of 14. All right, so using what we've learned from the prior slide, Kurt finds the perimeter rectangle by doubling the length, doubling the width, and then adding the two numbers. Molly finds it by adding the length and widths, then doubling the numbers. So write the formulas down here below. So which one, Kurt's would be, how would you write Kurt's formula, and how would you write Molly's formula? See if you can do it before I do. Okay, I'm going to do Molly's first. Molly finds the perimeter by adding the lengths and widths together, then doubling the two. So Molly's going to do this, lengths plus width, and then times them by 2. Kurt is going to double the length, 2 times length plus 2 times width. Both are going to get the same answer. They're just going to do it in separate ways. So using the two perimeter formulas, find the perimeter of this rectangle. See if you can do it before me. Perimeter equals 2 times 30 plus 20. That's one way of doing it. I can add those two together. This would be 50. 2 times 50 equals 100. So my perimeter is going to equal 100. The other formula, I would do this and come up with 60. And I'd do this and come up with 40. And then I'd add those two together. And 60 plus 40 equals 100. That's our perimeter. We don't square it because we're not finding area. We're finding the perimeter. 20 plus 30 is 50, and we got another 50 right here. So our all the way around equals 100. So both formulas for example 3 yield the same result. And by doing that, distributive property is often expressed in an equation by using variables. So like right here, and this is the same thing. So 2 plus b plus c equals a times b plus a times c. Or subtraction either way. Distributive property over subtraction, it works the same way. Right, you go a times b minus whatever a times c is. And that's right there. So let's try that. Show 2 ways to simplify this expression. What are 2 ways to make this simpler? First way, I'm going to do this. Okay, so I'm going to go 6 times 20 is 120. So I'm going to go 6 times 20 equals 120, and 6 times 5 equals 30. And add those two together, and I'm going to get 150. On this one here, I'm going to take 6, I'm going to times it by what 20 and 5 are added together, which is 25. I know that 4 25s equal 100, 2 more equals 50, so I know 6 25s equals 150 also. And that's the 2 ways of doing it. So see if you can do this one on your own. Use the distributive property. Remember to do all of that before you add the 4. Use your order of operations. Pause the video. See if you can get the right answer. Okay. So I'm going to take 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times n is 2n. So I've got 6 plus 2n plus 4. 6 plus 4 is 10. Right here. So now I've got 2n plus 10. Can I simplify it any more than that? So 2n plus 10. So 2 times 3, here's our 2 times our 3, here's our 2 times our n, and here's our plus our 4. So now we've got 6 plus the 4, and we got the 2n. Come down here, you got your 2n plus our 10. There's our 2n plus our 10. Add the 2n plus 10. So 6 plus 4 equals 10, because we know that that's as simple as it can get, is 2n plus 10. You can't simplify any more than that because we don't know what the n is. So this is simplified right here. That is your answer. So let's try another one. Evaluate AB divided by 2 when A is 6 feet and B is 8 feet. So A is 6 feet and B is 8 feet, all divided by 2. So what's 8 times 6 is 48. How many of these do we have? We got 2 of them. So it's feet squared divided by 2. So we're going to be 24 feet squared. So our answer is 24 feet squared. All right, that's distributive property. Your tickets in the door are 4, 7, and 9. If you have any questions, bring them to class tomorrow. Thank you for watching the video.